The title for best nation in Br3 is highly contested, because unless in Br2 every single nation suddenly becomes very good and improves a lot, and everything becomes much more nuanced. Though, still, Germany manages to pull a little bit ahead of every single other nation, thanks to its overall vehicle dominance. Germany has the best tank, thanks to the down-tiered Panzer IV-H, which was having a very, very lonely time in Br4 where no one played him. Now this great tank is in Br3, replacing the previous best German tank Panzer IV-J. Difference among them, these two, is the addition of side skirts. For those who think, oh, this isn't that much, well, it matters quite a lot, because these all type of heat shells also give you additional help against anti-tank rifles and autocannon, stuff like that. So this is actually a really, really good tank. And the side skirt makes him even better. And regarding the remaining stats, it has a very good cannon that easily deals with every single tank in the BR on all distances. It completely destroys infantry, so you not have to specialize anymore as in Br2 on whether you want to be anti-tank or anti-infantry. Here you get everything, and it comes with really good armor and good mobility and infinite shells, and everything's fine. So, great tank. Regarding planes, Germany has on paper great attacker planes in form of the BF-10s, BF-110s. Not the G2 anymore, which got up-tiered, but the, well, F2 and C7. It doesn't matter which one you play, both are almost identical, with slight flying characteristic differences. What matters is they have two heavy bombs and can easily shred enemy planes, at the expense of very bad flying stats, except for the speed. So yeah, overall fine planes, but here comes the big addition. Germany's attacker plane, the recently down-tiered Focke-Wulf 198A8, which is one of the coolest planes in the game. Why? Because it has actually perfect game design for a Br3 plane. It has very good speed, okay flying stats, but insane offensive power, coming with two heavy German rockets, which are around as strong as 1.5 HVARs, and can penetrate every enemy tank easily. All you need to do is get a direct hit, and the tank is instantly gone. Even if you get up-tiered, even if for some reason someone has Br4 or 5 tanks, you still one-shot them easily. And you get an insane 4 20mm autocannons and 2 13mm HMGs. Now, these 30mm HMGs are quite good at strafing enemy tanks from the top, and the 20mm destroy every single plane they touch, and also infantry on the ground due to the explosion effect. So this is, together with the American Mustang, the best fighter plane in low BR. Well, it comes at the price of being very, very, very hard to fly, due to it being very unstable, which is though cool because you have basically a very strong plane, which requires lots of focus while you use it, making it a very cool item overall in the game, very rewarding to play. These two items, Panzer IV-H and Focke-Wulf, give Germany overall the title of best vehicle nation Br3. On top of that, Germany also comes with overall good infantry weapons. They come with one of the best machine guns in low BR, MG34, the legendary German MG34, which used to be the best machine gun before the MG42 replaced it, though still used until the end of the war. Why is it so strong? Well, it has a very good fire rate, 50 rounds, very good precision, and quite a low recoil. Literally nothing bad about it. Absolutely nothing bad about it. And if you use horizontal recoil perks on it, it becomes even more precise and almost a laser. You can run around with it. You can hip fire it on short range. You can just spray at everything without having to bipod it. And if you bipod it, then it becomes insanely precise. Then you can just spray 50 bullets at whatever you see. So very strong weapon. Regarding SMGs, you get an insane amount of selection. and after the recent update even more, because the Beretta 40 rounds got down-tiered. I recommend to try out everything. The big highlights are the ZK as the overall best German SMG, being just very fast, and after receiving 2 buffs over the last 1.5 years, it became very precise and quite easy to use, and also is quite cool, as it's basically a smaller machine gun. It used to be developed as a machine gun, but then got reduced a little bit in size. Now it's basically a mix of a machine gun and an SMG. You can see it has almost the same barrel as the MG44. Yeah, so yeah, there you can see the history in your hands. Or you can use the MP35, which is also fine, though basically a little bit worse than the ZK. Handles closer to an MP40, so if you like MP40s, you might prefer this, or the Beretta 40 with 40 rounds, which is very easy to play, very comfy to play, and also a great machine, great SMG. When it comes to rifles, well, Germany has the worst, because currently only Gewehr 41, which is one of the worst semi-auto rifles in the game, due to having extremely bad precision. You're gonna miss more than half of your shots, even if the target is straight in front of you. The problem of this weapon is, if you try to shoot it quickly, the miss rate, which is a hidden stat that you don't see here, becomes over 50%. So the game forces you to miss shots, basically, which is not good. Yeah, so that weapon is quite a trap, sadly, though still the best you can play. I personally just mix Gewehr 41s with Kar98Ks for historical accuracy on Br3, because there's not really a reason to play the Gewehr 41 above them. So this is the only weakness, but overall everything's good. And don't forget the Panzerfaust 60 being the best anti-tank weapon on low BR that you have to share with the Soviets, ironically. Yeah, which easily deals with every single tank you see, and is also quite precise even on longer distances. So yeah, clear winner. Now the Soviets are a very close second. Not very close, but still quite close, because many strengths that Germany has, the Soviets also have. For example, the Soviets have a great machine gun, the also legendary Soviet DPM, which is quite cool and fun to play. And for everyone who played Hell Let Loose, yep, this is literally what you have to play there as a Soviet. It's a good weapon, which comes with better recoil than the Soviet one, because this recoil, due to the lower horizontal, is much easier to control, even despite higher vertical, and almost the same amount of magazine, though the MG34 is overall better. It comes also with a Panzerfaust. Regarding SMGs, the Soviets have the PPSH box, which is basically a PPSH with a smaller magazine size. It's good, it's insanely fast firing, and you have 35 bullets, so not the usual 30 or 32, but still it's small damage and you need to hit lots of bullets, and the weapon is only good on short range and becomes medium to okay or mid range. So regarding SMGs, nothing special for the Soviets. But when it comes to sniper rifles, they get a really good one. They get the first 10 bullet semi-auto rifle, which is just strong. Which is simply just a strong weapon. Semi-auto rifle, 10 damage with a scope, very, very good, and also very fun to play. That's a good feature. And the Soviets also get a very good rifle in form of the SVT-38. Not to be confused with the SVT-40, which you get the next BR, BR4. SVT-38 looks theoretically the same as Gewehr 41, because the stats are almost the same. Even the bayonet also. But this one actually hits the shots. This one doesn't miss the shots. Yeah, so once again, Soviet bias in play. Making your life easier than playing Germans. But when it comes to tanks and planes, you start suffering compared to Germany, because despite having access to the legendary T-34s, the normal T-34 used to torment all the German players in the Moscow campaign before the merge, but now it's just not good for Br3 due to its weak armor. And you really want to play the 1941 version, but still not too much better. Now, at least, you get access to the long-barreled T-34-57, which comes with some very, very dangerous penetration. So if you want a T-34, this is the one you want to play. One-shots all the German tanks, very dangerous, but you also can play the KV-1. Now what's so good about KV-1? Well, very strong HE cannon, also good enough to kill enemy tanks with multiple hits if you aim well, and almost indestructible with 75 millimeters armor everywhere. Literally, basically everywhere, as you can see. Why? Because the tank is basically a giant metal box, as you can see here, with a little bit of stuff around it. The hull is a giant metal box and the turret is a giant metal box, so it has everywhere 75, making it very hard to kill, and it also has some hidden modifications regarding how it survives TNT packs thrown on it and even TNT charges. This thing can survive grenades, TNT packs and stuff exploding even on top of the weak parts. So very, very tanky tank, very good against infantry, and also very good for playing two tanks. You want a KV-1 as your anti-infantry tank and the long T-34 against other tanks. Very good combo, but, well, if you play the German Panzer IV-H, you get both in one. Yeah, there you see how strong that Panzer IV-H is. Regarding planes, you get some very cool things. Here you get some unique, fun planes, because you can play the Yak-9T, which was down-tiered recently too. Why? It has a 37mm cannon, which one-shots tanks from the top, especially the German tanks, which like to save up on metal on the top, which isn't good though, because if this thing hits you with the 37 in the nose, you're instantly dead. So yeah, very cool to play. There's also a premium version with a 45mm cannon. Plays very similar. Yeah, this thing is just dangerous and fun, and once again, cannon planes are rare. Usually they come with extreme downsides, like having nothing else or being very, very problematic to fly. Not with the Yak. It's literally a fighter plane, literally with very high speed and very good stats, good climb rate and very good turn rate. And it also has two HMGs, so you can get some high velocity ammunition to make it even easier to hit enemy planes. And of course, if you hit an enemy plane with a 37, it instantly explodes. So yeah, very cool and fun to play plane, though also more useful as a secondary plane, because it's not that good to kill infantry on the ground. For that you have the, well, P-30Es. You can pick either of them, or, well, preferably this one with 6 100kg bombs and lots of machine guns, or the IL-2, preferably with the red nose, because here you get 4 bombs and 4 very good penetration rockets, and also 2 23mm cannons with lots of ammunition, so you can, well, you can basically kill everything on the map. Your cannons kill every plane. Your cannons also strafe everything on the ground well, even enemy tanks. And your bombs blow everything up. And your rockets are also very dangerous against tanks. So this plane is insanely offensive min-maxed at the cost of horrible flying characteristics. Well, it perfectly fits into a good organized team where you have air superiority and you just use the IL-2 to completely blow up everything on the ground. Also very fun to play overall. Yeah, so Soviets, really good, well-balanced army, very strong, have very nice advantages, though a bit weaker than the Germans due to the slightly worse tanks and slightly worse planes. Then at third place, we get the Americans. Now Americans are also quite close. Br3 is one of the most balanced BRs overall, because here every nation is literally just one dominant weapon type away from being number one. Now, Americans have, of course, their legendary Mustang, which strong contender for, well, most dominant plane on a single BR, because as a fighter it just has insane flying stats. 2 heavy bombs, so you can drop twice, making this better than any other attacker plane as well. And also 6 heavy machine guns, making it ridiculously easy to blow up enemy planes. So, and strafe effectively on the ground, and once again also strafe the weakly topped German tanks. And of course the very weak overall Japanese tanks, in case someone dares to use them. So very strong plane, very fun to play, also very beautiful, absolute delight. Also you get attacker planes, though they drop significantly in strength relative to this. There's barely a reason to play anything else than the Mustang. Regarding tanks, it becomes very interesting. Here you get some cool specialization. Well, you get first the howitzer tank, howitzer Sherman, with the good armor and a very deadly 105mm howitzer. You have only HE shells, though it doesn't matter because you one-shot any enemy tank anyway if you aim at the turret, preferably on the right cheek, and then you just overpressure the turret and everything explodes. Don't make the mistake of shooting at the hull. This usually just leads to a splash and nothing penetrates. So high skill tank, bit slow, but absolutely deadly against infantry and against anything. And if a plane flies slow, you can even shoot at a wall of a house, and the splash radius will kill the plane too. So very fun, strong tank, very cool. Also you get an HMG, very welcome. Yeah, very, very good tank overall, though very slow, and you really need perfect aim if you want to win tank duels. If you want to have it easier in tank duels, well, there's the MA2, with also a Sherman variant. By the way, you get here the British Germans, you get the American Germans, and here, well, pick any of those, preferably with this one, which comes overall with the best stats. Less effective against infantry, but more effective against tanks. So if you want to play only one tank, this one's the better one than the howitzer tank, as here you have actually a cannon that penetrates enemy tanks reliable. It's not as strong as a German one, but you won't one-shot your enemy tanks, but you will two-shot them easily. So make sure you aim at the turret once again. So you can see in Br3 many tanks are very well armored at the hull, and even if you penetrate them, you only will kill one or two crew members, and then the tank shoots you back, so make sure you shoot at the turret. Very strong tank, also, well, for historical reasons, very cool. Most common American tank, very nice. Then the Americans get a strong anti-tank weapon in form of the M9 bazooka, which comes with good penetration and very precise flying characteristics of the rocket. Very nice to have. And here, the absolute highlight of the Americans, the legendary Brownings. Yep, with the last one being the significantly best, due to having the best recoil, as you can see. Here you have 600 and 4115. Here you have 3815, which is straight up better than the first. And here you have 3415. So the recoil gets better and better. Also the sights change a little bit. And the last one is just the by far best. This weapon plays more like a strong SMG than like an overpowered SMG than a normal machine gun, because it's fast. You barely get slowed down, only by 25%, meaning you can run around and shoot every enemy, and one hit will usually kill the enemy. Absolutely strong weapon, very fun to play, and also very fun for historical role playing. So yeah, absolutely great. Regarding SMGs, there's nothing good. You get Thompsons, yep, but these Thompsons aren't even better than the Thompson you can play on BR2. They're literally just, well, this one's literally not better than this. Because it comes with overall, it's well, obviously it depends on the specific player, it's subjective, but the problem is this one, due to being faster, is significantly harder to control than the first one. So you're gonna get more kills with the one that you can actually control easier and better. Yeah, so there's nothing that the Americans literally don't get anything in Br3 when it comes to SMGs, but they get something when it comes to snipers, because they get the best bolt action sniper rifle in the game, possibly in the whole war, the Lee Enfield number 4 with an insanely overpowered rifle platform. You get extremely high damage with basically no damage drop off. You literally one-shot everyone and everything on 300 meters. You get very good, you get extreme precision, very fast fire rate. Basically everything is maxed. It literally doesn't get better than this weapon as a bolt action rifle. Of course you want to perk your snipers to give them extremely good speed, meaning faster reload, faster bolt action sniping, and then your soldiers cycle the bolt even faster. Yeah, so very good. And when it comes to rifles, you get, of course, the legendary Garand, and since recently also the Johnson. Now, what's the difference? Well, the Garand has better sights. That's the main difference, and it's more famous, obviously, much more famous. Legendary Garand, very reliable. For the longest time, was the best semi-auto rifle in Br3, still one of the best. And the Johnson, if you don't mind having no bayonet and having worse sights, is also quite a good weapon. Also, it has 25% more bullets. So Americans are all really good, but they have some big holes, like the SMGs being basically nothing, and well, that's the only hole. That's why they're also quite close, but yeah, still behind the Soviets. And well, once again, the Japanese aren't the best nation, because, well, what do they have? In Br3 they have the strongest rifle now in the game, since the Type 4 was downranked. Why is it so good? Well, it's basically a combination of everything a semi-auto rifle can have. Good damage, 10 rounds, a bayonet, and good precision. Meaning you don't miss your shots as with the Gewehr 41. It literally is everything that you want in one weapon. Absolutely great, absolutely cool. It even managed to surpass the Garand. So yeah, really good rifle, giving the Japanese a nice advantage. Then you get also a surprisingly good machine gun, because you get a Browning clone. Not quite, but still, in Enlisted, it behaves very close to the Browning. The sights are quite similar. The stats are similar, and you're even faster, because you only get a 20% movement penalty, and you have 5 more rounds. So this is basically a better Browning. Yep, if you think the Browning was already great, this is even better. Though the iron sights aren't as good, they're a bit harder to aim with. But still, very good weapon, very fun to play, very strong, and very much needed, because besides that, the Japanese simply don't have that much. Their only last argument for power is the Type 100 SMG, which is possibly the most underrated SMG in the game, because it's simply very good. It has high damage, has an insanely high fire rate, basically a perfect fire rate after you upgrade. I'm going to show you the upgraded stats. And you can see I even play it on BR5. Yeah, so that's how good it is. Has a fire rate of over 900, which is, well, you don't want it over 1000, but 920 is perfect. It has very good recoil control. Basically no recoil at all. You're gonna spray perfectly precise, very high damage, and 30 rounds. And you have a bayonet, so you can charge and you can stab enemies on short range and just spray away everything. This is as perfect as an SMG can be without being insanely unfair, and also very skill intense, because it's a perfect headshot machine, and it's also great on all distances. You can use it on, well, obviously short range, just hip fire everything. And on long range, if you aim well, you are gonna kill everyone too. Yeah, thanks to the low recoil and the okay precision for an SMG. So, very good SMG as well for the Japanese. But, that's it. They don't have any planes that we should talk about. They don't have any tanks that we can talk about. They don't have anything. And they don't even have good anti-tank weapons, because they literally don't get anything in Br3, and the Br2 ones aren't keeping up. So the Japanese are literally just not keeping up with the other nations, because they're missing quality stuff. They're missing a good quality tank, and they're missing a good quality plane. As you can see, there are literally big gaps in the tech tree. Yeah, so as expected, Japanese not really good, and therefore the weakest nation in Br3.